Hello Willyheads, and welcome back to the Antarctica of part 5 of what the hell is happening in Antarctica. In this edition I would like to talk about this. This is the Antarctic Pyramid. That is the Pyramid of Giza in Egypt. This is the pyramid in Antarctica. This is the famous pyramid recently that Buzz Aldrin tweeted about. Let's see if we can pull up the Buzz Aldrin tweet here. Here he is, Buzz Aldrin. Buzz Aldrin, Buzz Aldrin, Buzz Aldrin. Here we go. Now Buzz, of course the second man to land on the moon, comes out with some crazy shit, to put it bluntly. He's recently been talking about monoliths found on a small satellite of Mars. A monolith that is not made by man, which sounds like the monolith from 2001: A Space Odyssey, saying that humanity needs to investigate this. He's a crazy cat. But here we go. He's talking about the pyramid on Antarctica, and Buzz tweets, "We are all in danger. It is evil itself." Now, we've talked about this before. He did this on his... he tweeted this message to the world using his official verified Twitter account, then strangely deleted the tweet. He's talking about this, which is the pyramid on Mars. Let's have a look here. The pyramid on Mars. I'm getting confused. Good old Buzz. The pyramid on Antarctica. Let's have a look what this is the British Sunday Express. Snow pyramid discovery in Antarctic could change the course of human history. Stunning images of what appear to be a pyramid in Antarctica are baffling scientists around the world. There it is. It has to be said that the British tabloids do not take they're very dismissive of it. It's more of a have a laugh at this type of story rather than taking it seriously. All the same, images on Google Earth have revealed the existence of a four-sided structure which bears the uncanny resemblance to the famous Egyptian pyramids built thousands of years ago. Covered by snow on each side, the find has prompted theories that what is now the snowy caps of the Earth was once inhabited. Let's try that again. The find has prompted theories that what is now the snowy caps of the Earth was once inhabited by humanity. Not very well, not very eloquently written. What was there who wrote that? The Sunday Express. Not very well eloquently written. These structures have apparently been found, two roughly 10 miles inland, and the other close to the coast. Now let's have a look at the ones close to the coast. They're a little bit. There are the ones close to the coast. Now that looks like a classical pyramid. That looks like a Mayan pyramid, where the top is flat. I once had a very vivid dream where I was taken to the top of a Mayan pyramid, and it was in ancient Maya. And the priest there had these Obsidian knives, and they took my shirt off, and I thought they were going to cut my heart off. But the sun came up, and I was crowned a sun god, which I was very grateful for. But that's a slight aside. So these are the pyramids at the coast. I mean, they do look like pyramids. That looks like a South American pyramid. That looks like an Egyptian pyramid. Let's carry on here. In 2009, scientists studied samples taken from the frozen continent and discovered pollen, suggesting that temperature was much higher than the frosty -49, around 20 degrees Celsius. 3 years later, in 2012, scientists from Nevada's Desert Ranch Institute identified 32 species of bacteria from Lake Vida, East Antarctica, leading further proof that climate was entirely different to the frozen tundra that it is today. There's the pyramid there. Well, let's have a look at the famous Piri Piri map, shall we? Because this is quite a strange thing. The Piri Reis map of Antarctica ice-free. This is the strange thing. I'll tell a story in a minute. This Turkish admiral collated maps from various different sources. This is around 500 years ago, and mapped the various parts of the world, but he also mapped the continent of Antarctica free of ice. Now, according to scientists, it's not been free of ice in 100 million years, but he was exactly accurate, and there's no way. It's only just with satellite technology that we've been able to map it ice-free as it were today. So check the story out. It's quite interesting. In 1929, a group of historians found an amazing map drawn on a gazelle skin. Research showed that it was a genuine document drawn in 1513 by Piri Reis, a famous admiral of the Turkish fleet in the 16th century. His passion was cartography. There's the map there. Piri Reis' high rank within the Turkish Navy allowed him to have privileged access to the Imperial Library at Constantinople. The Turkish admiral admits in a series of notes on the map that he compiled and copied data from a large number of source materials, some of which dated back to the 4th century BC or earlier. It's still only 1600, well, 4th century BC, 2,400 years ago. It's not. There are trees alive around here where I am that are that old. It's not at the ancient world by any stretch of the imagination, and it's certainly not 100 million years ago, as scientists would have you. The controversy, the Piri Reis map of Antarctica. The Piri Reis map shows the western coast of Africa, the eastern coast of South America, and the northern coast of Antarctica ice-free. The northern coastline of Antarctica is perfectly detailed. The most puzzling detail, however, is not so much the Piri Reis Antarctica map managed to so accurate 300 years before it was discovered. Okay. But that the map shows the real coastline under the ice. Geological evidence confirms that the latest date Queen Maud Land could have been charted in an ice-free state is 4,000 years BC. On the 6th of July 1960, the US Air Force responded to Professor H. Charles Hapgood of Keene College, specifically to his request for an evaluation of the ancient Piri Reis map. To Professor Charles Hapgood, Keene College. Dear Professor Hapgood, your request of an elevation of certain unusual features of the Piri Reis Antarctica map in 1513 by the organisation has been reviewed. The claim that the lower part of the map portrays Princess Martha coast of Queen Maud Land, Antarctica, and the Palmer Peninsula is reasonable. We find that this is the most logical and, in all probability, the correct interpretation of the map. The geographical details shown in the lower part of the map agrees very remarkably with the results of the seismic profile made across the top of the ice cap by the Swedish-British Antarctic expedition of 1949. This indicates the coastline had been mapped before it was covered by an ice cap. This part of Antarctica ice-free. The ice cap in this region is now about a mile thick. We have no idea how the data on this map can be reconciled with the supposed state of geographical knowledge in 1513. Okay, the official science had been saying all along that the ice cap which covers the Antarctic is a million years old. The Piri Reis Antarctica map shows that the northern part of the continent has been mapped before the ice did cover it. That should make us think that it has been mapped a million years ago. That it has been mapped a million years ago. This article is not very well written. It's got to be said. But that's impossible since mankind did not exist at that time. Well, some people would beg to differ. Further and more accurate studies have proven that the last period of ice-free condition in the Antarctic ended about 6,000 years ago. There are still doubts about the beginning of the ice-free period, which has been put by different researchers everywhere between the year 13,000 and 9,000 BC. The question is, who mapped Queen Maud Land of Antarctica 6,000 years ago? Which unknown civilization had the technology or the need to do that? Well, 6,000 years ago is not a huge amount of time. There are yew trees around here that are 2,500 years old. It's not a long time. It just isn't. What is that fungus in the desert in America that's 30,000 years old, the world's oldest living thing? It's a bloody mushroom. It's not a long time ago. It was well known that the first civilization, according to traditional history, developed in the Mideast around the year 3000 BC, soon to be followed within a millennium by the Indus Valley and the Chinese ones. So accordingly, none of the known civilizations could have done such a job. Who was here 4,000 years BC? Being able to do things that now are possible only now in 1949 with modern technologies. All through the Middle Ages, there were a number of sailing charts called portolani circulating, which were accurate maps of the most common sailing routes, showing coastlines, harbours, straits, bays, etc. Most of these portolani focused on the Mediterranean and the Aegean Sea, but other known routes, just like the sailing book which Perry Rees himself had written. But a few reported of still unknown lands, and they were circulating amongst sailors who seemingly kept their knowledge about these special maps as hidden as they could. No doubt treasure and whatever had something to do with it. Columbus is supposed to have been one of those who knew these special sailing charts. To draw the Perry Rees Antarctica map, he used several different sources, collected here and there along his journeys. He has written his own notes of the map and has given us a picture of the work he has been doing. He says he had not been. He says he had not been. He says he had not been not responsible for the original surveying and cartography. It's appallingly written. His role is merely that of a compiler who used a large number of source maps. He says then that some of the source maps have been drawn by contemporary sailors, whilst others were instead charts of great antiquity dating back to the 4th century BC or earlier. So, you know, who's to say? Who's to say that that the pyramids on Antarctica, that they weren't built by a civilization? What if it was ice free? Maybe even as little as 3,000 or 4,000 years ago. They could be man-made. You know. Which brings me to a few other stories. Indeed, the recent discovery of the mysterious staircase. This is the Mail Online, another British tabloid. Is there an alien land in sight in Antarctica? Mysterious staircase found on Google Earth prompts bizarre theories. Let's have a look at it. There it is. The latest in a series of bizarre claims by conspiracy theorists, I think they're probably talking about me and you, says there is a giant staircase in Antarctica. Well, that actually exists. You can find it on Google Earth. An image has surfaced which is alleged to be a satellite image of the Antarctic, and believers in extraterrestrial life claim it could prove that aliens are visiting Earth. The picture was posted on a UFO and conspiracy forum. The latest in a series of bizarre claims by conspiracy theorists say there is a great staircase in Antarctica. The image has surfaced, which is alleged to be a satellite image of the Antarctic. Believers in extraterrestrial life claim it could prove aliens are visiting the Earth. The image was posted online by an anonymous member of the forum Godlike Productions, along with a message. This morning in the work van, we were talking about conspiracies, and one of them were about so many big names going to Antarctica, which we've talked about earlier on in my first Antarctica video. Going to Antarctica out of the blue. The message read, I was bored, so I pulled out Google Earth for a while, just exploring. Then I came across something that looked like a giant staircase. Anyone have an idea what it is? Just a glitch in the satellite cameras, or something more? They are not stairs, somebody else commented. They're way too big. They are ridges formed by a sawtooth-shaped weight bearing down and compacting the snow. It is more likely a landing site than stairs. Very, very strange. And then we have what is thought to be this is from the Sunday Express, a British tabloid. What is this fort doing in Antarctica? Motte and Bailey Castle remains emerged from ice cap. A giant fort-like structure that does look like a motte. We have them around where I am. There's my front door. Literally 100 yards away, there's a hill with the remains of an old castle. They're everywhere where I live in mid-Wales. There are more castles in mid-Wales per square mile than anywhere else on the face of the earth. So, yeah, that looks like a moat. Trust me. What appears to the remains oval-shaped building is 400 feet across and appears to have all the hallmarks of being sizable man-made construction, similar to a medieval Motte and Bailey castle. If true, it reshape everything scientists thought they knew about humanity's past, as it would prove people inhabited what was once previously thought to be a desolate region. Well, if it was ice-free 5,000 years ago, and let's say that technology was you know, commensurate to what technology was 5,000 years ago, there's no reason why it couldn't be a Motte and Bailey castle. You know, not that castles were around 5,000 years ago, but certainly the idea of defensive ditches and a wooden palisades were around 5,000 years ago. I mean, come on, an idiot can think of it today. You know. Here is the Perry-Rees map again, I presume. Yeah, it is. Scientists initially thought the discovery could be a sastrugi, a natural phenomenon formed by years of being battered by strong freezing winds and heavy snowfall. But sastrugis always form a distinctive shape based on the direction of the wind and rarely appear as a distinct oval, such as the mystery formation in the satellite image. Now, I must admit, I am not overly convinced by this. The staircase, that is much more impressive, and the pyramids, they are much more impressive. The castle, I'm yet to be sold on it. I mean, the pyramid, yeah, that looks like a classical pyramid, you know. They're talking about the Perry-Rees map. In 1513, the map shows Antarctica drawn impeccably well, despite it not being officially discovered, the whole continent, until 1818. This dome-like structure is not the first to be discovered and raises questions about advanced ancient civilizations living in the area. The pyramid also appears to have been discovered. Oh, this is talking about what we were talking about earlier. A pyramid appears also to have been discovered, poking out of the snow with its distinctive triangular symmetrical shape, are clearly at odds with its surrounding environment. Leading archaeologist Ashoka, oh, well, that's very interesting, that's the name of an old Indian famous king, Tripathi, one of the Department of Archaeology at the University of Calcutta, believes that the image showed clear evidence of ancient human settlement beneath the ice sheet. He said these are clearly features of some sort of human man-made structure, resembling some sort of pyramidal structure. The pattern clearly shows nothing we would expect from natural geomorphological formations found in nature. We clearly have evidence of human engineering. The only problem is that these photographs were taken in Antarctica under 2 kilometers of ice. That is clearly the puzzling part. We do not have any explanation for this at the moment. These pictures just reflect just a small portion of Antarctica's total landmass. There are possibly many other additional sites that are covered with ice. It just shows us how easy it is to underestimate both the size and scale of past human settlements. Well, there it is. I mean, let's have, here is the pyramid, and that's the pyramid at Giza. It's very easy to put 2 and 2 together, you know. So we have more mysteries here. It's worth saying that pyramids were built all over the world. That's a nice pyramid linked into alien technology. It reminds me of that film Stargate. Do you remember that? Pyramids are found all over the world. Is that a little chart of pyramids found all over the world? It is. Pyramid structures of the world. Here we go. You know, Ziggurats pyramids of Djoser in Egypt. More Egyptian pyramids. City of Iraqi. China, mausoleum, definitely pyramidal shape. Jebel Barkai pyramid, Sudan. Tomb of King Kasha, Sudan. Chugha-Zabil, that's in Iran. Pyramid of Cestius in Italy. I didn't know about that. Pyramid of the Sun in Mexico. That's the one where I had my dream, where my heart was going to be taken out and I was crowned the Sun King instead. Thank you for that, Aztecs. Tomb of the General in China. Indonesia. There's a Polynesian pyramid. A Chinese pyramid. El Castillo in Mexico. Prang Temple in Cambodia. So, I mean, pyramids are found all over the world. Perhaps they are now found in Antarctica. It's a mystery, and if I find anything more out about these pyramids in Antarctica, I will let you know. Thank you for joining me, and I hope to see you again. Bye bye for now, Woolly Heads.